Hello everybody and welcome back to the Fortress of Solitude. Today we're going to be talking about Green Lantern issue 19 by Jeremy Adams, Fernando Pasarin, Claire Albert, Jason Paz, and Romulo Fajardo Jr. In the wake of the Derlin threat, the Absolute Power event, and various other things, the galaxy begins to calm down just a little, but not enough that the Justice League aren't still fighting giant monsters, like a giant sea monster who tries to invade Hub City. The League try and find Aquaman, but the hero recently disappeared during an adventure to find Atlantis, as the city was taken from the bottom of the ocean. Story that you can actually go and follow over in Jeremy Adams' other book, Aquaman, and it's pretty darn good. Help soon arrives in the form of Hal Jordan, who is happy to see Carol again, saving her from being crushed by the giant monster. Carol is glad that Hal is back, taking him up on his offer to help, and the Lanterns cart the beast off into the Mariana Trench. Batman thinks that this is going to be a big problem, but Superman and Wonder Woman like that two members of their team are in love again. Knowing how Hal and Carol's past relationships have gone, I'm sure it won't end well, but I like that it's being brought back and actually being used as a story element, especially since they have a very big tie beyond being Lanterns to the new villain Sorrow, whom they still have to deal with. Later at the Watchtower, Hal informs Carol about what happened back on Oa and how Nate stole the Book of Oa from them. Hal is aware of the danger that Sorrow Lantern could pose to the universe if he built his own power battery with the book and wants Carol to help stop him. Carol believes that she is more useful there on Earth, where the League can teach her and train her how to use her powers properly. Honestly, I'm so surprised that Carol's character arc from Absolute Power is still going on, and it's been a great one, with Carol relearning her powers, learning if she actually wants to be a hero, and actually learning from really interesting characters, not just Justice League, since she learned that she wanted to be a hero again from the JSA and some of the younger heroes like Stargirl. It's pretty neat direction for her, and I like that she now has decided to become that hero and actually stay there on Earth and have this support structure around her instead of just gallivanting off into space with Hal. Hal understands her choice but still thinks that he and Carol should spend some private time together, and she eagerly agrees. Back on Oa, an unseen individual infiltrates the Green Lantern Corps armory, using Theron's ring to get through the locks and outfit herself weapons like gauntlets, a special utility belt, and a sword. As she opens the final drawer to find her ring, the woman finds it missing as Kyle Rayner appears, expecting to see Odyssey the Time Bandit and knowing that she would come for her Legion fight ring. Now Odyssey is, I believe, a new character. I don't recognize her and I don't think she's appeared anywhere else, but already I'm really getting hints of Dr. Aphra from the Star Wars comics from her, which I really love. I love Dr. Aphra, and if that's sort of the direction we're going with this character, we're in for something quite special. Kyle gets a little cocky and doesn't anticipate Odyssey attacking as the woman grabs her Legion ring and tries to escape, only for Kyle to restrain her and give her a choice. She can either return to her science cell and wait to be picked up by the other time traveler she seems to be avoiding, or she can help Kyle save the universe. Adams likes putting in little teasers for things that he's got coming up, whether it be in the next arc or like a couple of arcs down the way. He does a very good job of building out things that will happen in future issues, and he does it so well because he does it in conversation dialogue, like characters just talking, they'll mention something and that'll come back a little bit later on. Here is a prime example of this, as Kyle mentions the other time traveling woman who is after Odyssey, and it's someone he can't actually believe is real, which implies that he knows they can exist but doesn't understand how they exist, or like can't believe that they actually are a real thing. So stuff like that gets me really excited for the book's scope expanding slightly into time travel and far futures, something we actually never got to explore very much with the Lanterns. It's always, you know, set in the present, in the cosmic present, out in space. They don't really expand into time travel stuff all that much. Kyle and Odyssey travel to Australia, where they find some men looking over a crater in the ground. The men are startled by Kyle and Odyssey as an earthquake shakes the ground and a geyser of water explodes out of it, heralding the arrival of Connor Kent, who thanks to Fernando Pasarin's art gets a real thirst trap entrance. Superboy is instantly smitten with Odyssey, and this makes it all easier for Kyle to recruit him for his new mission, as Connor jumps at the chance to get to team up with a beautiful young woman. I got a bit of a chuckle out of this sentence, since there was a time, ages ago, decades ago, where this Superboy role probably would have been given to Kyle, back when he was the new hot young Lantern everybody loved, but now he's just kind of embarrassed for Connor and how he's acting up, knowing probably full well that this would have been him in this position at some point. With Superboy now recruited to their mission, Kyle and Odyssey head to the Watchtower, where they meet with Hal and Carol, who are waiting for them. Hal Hal has prepared his old ship, the Interceptor, for a deep space journey with his friends. Hal kisses Carol goodbye, telling her to come get him if she ever feels like he is in trouble. There is a real nice moment here where both of them actually say they love each other, something I didn't think we'd get this early on in this new form of their relationship. And of course it makes me very fearful because there's that old trope, the soldier going off to war, he tells his wife he loves her, but he never ends up seeing her again. That's what this feels like. Once on board, the team blast off into space, but their old ship is no longer powered by an AI, so Hal has to pilot the ship himself and power the ship through sheer willpower. If you're familiar with the Green Lantern animated series, which I believe Jeremy Adams did actually work on at one point, you'll know who this AI is actually referring to, because this ship and everything is from that animated series. And maybe this character might be coming back a little later on in this book, but we'll get there eventually. Across the galaxy, at the Castle of the Desolate Stone, Starbreaker has finished translating the pages of the Book of Oa and begins the next phase of his plan with Sorrow, who pleads for no more pain or misery in the universe. Starbreaker opens a portal to his realm and lets his brethren into the universe, proclaiming that together they are the Starbreaker core and they will steal that which gives the universe life. I'm very excited for the return of Starbreaker and how Starbreaker has kind of become a villain who's translated from being a JLA villain to a full-on Green Lantern villain. And it's great to have him actually have a proper super villain enemy, not just another recolor of the Lantern Corps like the Sinestro Corps or the Red or Black Lanterns. Hal doesn't have a lot of caped super villains. They're always just other lanterns, so I like that we're going back into super villains this time around. In deep space, the Interceptor receives a transmission from John Stewart, who informs the crew that the Guardians have located a manifestation of rage on a nearby planet. Hal decides he's going to investigate it alone, while the rest of the team take the Interceptor to the Source Wall, much to Kyle's chagrin, since he wants to go with Hal on his mission. Hal reminds him that Sorrow is their top priority and they need to be ready for him, and besides, he's just going to have a quick look around down on the planet and will meet up with them at the Source Wall later. As Kyle and Connor fight over who gets to be the interim captain, Hal heads down to the alien world, finding that its people have been butchered in their villages. He soon finds out who did this, as he discovers one of the people was infected with the red light of rage thanks to the fractured spectrum. Green Lantern issue 19 began a new storyline with a bunch of new plots rearing their heads. The issue felt like it was kind of all set up for getting things into place for what happens next in the next arc, which isn't a bad thing since the stories that are being set up here by Jeremy Adams are really cool, but things like the Fractured Spectrum special kind of told us where everything was and kind of should have already set everything out into motion, and feels like we're just kind of spinning wheels for this issue 19 before we head into the next 4-issue arc before the big event series in issue 25. Still though, I really enjoyed it, and I like that Connor Kent is getting involved in the cosmic side of the stuff, since we don't have a super person in space at the moment, so it's really cool to get some House of L representation in there. I'm going to give this issue an 8 out of 10.